So I know Venezuela is nothing new. A lot of people are struggling to see that this was an American first decision. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, Trump was just trying to grab power. Oh, look at Trump. He's trying to get us into the next war. But let's actually dissect what all was accomplished with this. Now, you have some very obvious reasons, one being the drugs, the cartels, the human trafficking, and Maduro actually had U.S. warrants out for his arrest. What took place wasn't a military operation, that it was more of a law enforcement operation where we were going after a fugitive and arresting them. We also have no plans to carry out further military action. It was a one and done type of mission. You also have the conversation that there is literally an island out there where they are training Islamicist terrorists. So we definitely want to put a stop to that. But really, there were a few massive pieces here that I think a lot of people are missing. This was a statement to our enemies that we are not a weak country. We are not to be messed around with. They were shocked that we were able to get into Venezuela that far without being detected. They were shocked because you have these records from on the ground witnesses, the troops, that all of a sudden they were all just getting really sick and having major issues with their heads. They were having some insane side effects, meaning we have some sort of crazy weapon. So now we have all of our enemies wondering, oh, what kind of weapons do the United States have? We don't want to get in a war with them. Trump didn't go in there to topple a regime. If he was there to topple a regime, he would have pulled every leader out and he would have left a power vacuum. He only plucked Maduro out and he left the rest of the leadership, the regime there. And he's telling them, hey, you're going to start negotiating with us? Because if you don't, did you see what happened to that guy? So I know a lot of people are like, oh, he's trying to get us into war. I think most of Americans know this. Unfortunately, based off of the pattern of history, war is kind of overdue at this point, and we are definitely moving towards another war. And Trump is trying to set us up so that way we will survive that. So that we are not at the mercy of our enemies because we are outsourcing everything to other nations. Because we're not dependent on other nations for oil, for minerals, for raw resources. He's trying to make us energy independent. He's always able to structure with Iran because they have one of the largest supplies of oil in the world. It wasn't just for us so that we could get all the oil. We weren't oil hungry. It wasn't that. It was controlling the oil that is being shipped over to our enemies. Remember, Venezuela is working with Iran, with Russia, with China. So by putting restrictions on the amount of oil going over to our enemies, he just guaranteed that right now we already have a leg up for when the world goes to hell in a handbasket. This was 1000% an American first policy. It wasn't designed to get us into war. It was actually designed to show our enemies why they don't want to go to war with us. It was actually designed to set us up so that way down the road, and war is inevitable, it was set up to make sure that we as America can pull out on top. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more context about what was going on in Venezuela.